Do you realize how much we spend our money? And I'm not talking about bills, taxes, rent, and all that stuff. I'm talking about, things like entertainment, things like clothes, things like books, things like hobbies, passions, whatever. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, but this awareness kind of made me realize how excessive it can be, how extreme it can become. And I'm looking back at my journey from when I was like working all the time, and I realized how much I spent so much on unnecessary things, things that seem now looking back, it seems like all those things that I spent on was just like a coping mechanism of you know, having a long after a long work day. There were times when, I finished a work day and I would go straight to the mall, straight to the store or whatever, and I would just get this, get that, and or for example, I would go do some chores, I don't know, groceries or whatever, and then there would be this section of physical media. I'm passionate about physical media. I still like to watch movies, with a physical disc, and they would have these, random section where they would have like these random movies, and I would just like, jump right into it and just pick a random one just because it was there, because it was, $5, $10, whatever, and I would just get it because, it was part of the whole spending thing going on, and I'm still passionate about a lot of the things that that I'm interested in, like a lot of the passions, my hobbies. I'm not saying that I will stop spending forever because there's still things that I love, and it kind of sucks that we live in a world where it's all about money and it's all spending, it's about working. But I mean, it's not like I'm here to find a solution and change the world or something. But I do see through the cracks, and I see through how messed up it is, and how it really is a giant, wheel, a machine of just money flowing, economy, and all that crap. And yeah, I see through it all. But like I said, it's not like I can change anything about it. This is what this channel is for. This channel is to make people aware of what's actually going on in this world, like truly, to expose the truth that a lot of people will try to bury deep down and try to cope. And then now I'm just looking back at like a lot of the things that I have, and I'm just going around my house. I'm like, why did I get this? Why did I get that? And there are some things where I'm like, oh, I knew I got this because I'm passionate about it, because it's meaningful, it's special to me, and or it's a gift from someone, and it's meaningful because it's a gift. It's not because I bought it. So, but the things that I bought like right after, for example, a shift at work, or just randomly browsing on Amazon just to just after during a weekend, just to fill a void or something, and I realized that's what I've been doing this whole time, and it kind of reinforces the fact that the more we work, the more we spend. And well, it depends on what you do for work too. If you're if you love what you do, it's a different story. But for example, I never really loved what I did for work, so the spending was basically the coping mechanism. It was kind of like a way to escape reality, in a way to I remember there was this one vacation that I had, that was that was given by my one of my jobs before, and that whole 2 weeks I was looking for something to spend. I was searching for something to spend like over $300 or over 200. Like, that's insane. Like, my mind was going there at the time during vacation, and yeah, I mean, looking back, I'm like, what? How, that was me? Was that really who I am before? Who I was before? Damn. And you realize this whole time it's just temporary happiness. Like, sure, I had fun in those 2 weeks after I got that expensive thing, and then, 2 weeks later, going back to work Monday morning, and it's just back to the grind, back to the hustling. And not only that, but whenever you go to the mall, you kind of just see that happening. And I start to kind of like think about what other people are going through, what's this person doing in a mall at this store on a Tuesday afternoon at 12 p.m. And it's like, and then they have like a bunch of like clothes in their hands, or they have a bunch of products, like lots of them. Like that's the thing that's concerning. Like if you were buying like just a couple things, okay, whatever. But like when I see people having like a whole stack in their hand or in their cart, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what like what is happening here? And I can only assume that this is just another person probably working and then coping to spend. It's just kind of like how what I was doing. I had this urge to spend my money during vacation after working so hard. And it's just looking back, it's just like, what? Like I did all that? Like how was I like that before? There's also this bittersweet aspect to it all where this awareness is kind of making me outgrow certain like things, but not like completely, like just kind of like limit myself in a way. Kind of just like, I can still love a certain thing, but I can still control myself. I don't have to, overspend. I don't feel the urge to kind of just fill a void, by spending lots amounts of money just to, so I can feel this temporary happiness. But yeah, looking back at all those things, I'm just like kind of looking at an older version of myself, like my past self, and I'm just like, it's like I said, it's bittersweet. It's like looking into like a diary and just seeing like, oh, this is who I was before. This is the person who I was and I spent because of this, spend this because of that. And, now I'm just in a completely different mindset. My worldview has shifted. I view things differently. I think about consumerism. I think about the society system, the way everything works. And it changed my perspective on so many things. And it's still changing to this day. And it's like, it's never, I feel like it's never stopping. Like right now I'm in the middle of that phase, so it's not like I'm fully awakened yet, whatever you want to call that. And right now I feel like I'm just kind of slowly letting things go. Like things that were part of me before, part of my identity. And it's like I don't really, there are certain things that I have where I'm like, I don't really see myself just spending on more of these types of things anymore. Like I'm still in the process of redefining myself and seeing where this journey takes me. And yeah, I don't know where it's going, but I just know for a fact that my perspective on spending and has changed a lot, honestly. And it's not just because I'm unemployed right now, it's just because I see how the machines work. I see how, working a job you don't like, and it kind of just makes you want to spend to cope. And even if you do like your job, you still end up, spending in some capacity because you have the opportunity to spend. And, I was in that mindset. I was making good money when I was still employed. I still had my job, and I remember even seeing that the orders I have in my Amazon account was a record last year. It was a record. There were so many Amazon orders. I bought a lot of shit, and not just Amazon, but a lot of other things too from other stores. I and that's not who I am right now. It's crazy how that's the thing. This awareness is so fucking jarring. It's like if I compare it to who I was just a year ago, I'm like, who was that guy? And now I'm just it's a 180, and I don't know how to explain it. It's sometimes overwhelming, and it's very jarring, but it really, this awareness really changed me. It's crazy. And the thing about it's kind of like I'm realizing how growth is kind of a little painful because I'm kind of letting go my past self. And it's not like I'm like I stopped loving some of my passions and hobbies. Like I still love movies, I still love photography, I still love music and stuff, but I'm just kind of, dialing it back down, kind of not, you know, seeking like, you know, things to buy all the time related to those hobbies. I just kind of have to control, like kind of just, appreciating what I have, and also kind of looking at some of my things and kind of be like, oh, maybe I can sell this, maybe I can give this to someone, or because I just don't need it anymore because it's reflects a version that's not me right now. And yeah, it's I think it's part of the process of this awakening, I'm sure. Oh yeah, and one thing I also like to add is that though, when I was younger, I always envisioned, oh, I want to get this car, I want to get this big house. I had these like, these dreams and goals that were all fed to us by society um, to prove to others that you are successful and you made it and stuff. And of course, again, with this awareness, I'm just like, I don't need all that to be happy. I don't need to have that expensive car that has all these cool tech new features and stuff. I don't need this house that has these uh I don't fucking know anyway. But I just want something simple. I just want something, peaceful, soothing. I don't need that much. And it also goes to the this is also related to the topic of minimalism, and I think that's kind of how I would proceed to move forward in life, is just being a minimalist, not having to need too many things, not wanting to spend too much, and just kind of appreciate just getting the things that you need, and that's the only thing that matters to me right now, and I don't really need that too many things. And like I said, it's a little painful, but I think it's necessary in order to move forward. And but yeah, I just see how this world that we live in, it's really it's all about like working a lot and spending. And I see through it all now. I see through the bullshit. I see the pattern, I see the machines running, I see the world for what it truly is. And but yeah, let me know your thoughts on consumerism and spending and all that stuff. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.